So Conor McGregor's on the sniffing powder again. I don't know if this is actually serious or what's happening, but he does mention the Ambani family from India. Basically what he says is the rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. So apparently that fight is not happening. All the rumors are fake. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family. For those who don't know, that's the richest man in all of Asia, the richest man in India. And apparently they're gonna set up a fight between himself and Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. Conor McGregor's apparently agreed. He will then seek his octagon return later on, I'm guessing. It seems like the octagon return just keeps getting pushed back and back and back. If anything, I'm guessing Conor doesn't like the training and the weight cut and all that, like a 10-week preparation to stay off the sniffing powders and the drinks. And you know how you tell yourself every single day, I'll do it tomorrow, but there's no way he would rather be in a boxing exhibition on the fucking dirty streets of Mumbai or New Delhi. And it's not racist, alright? I'm Indian, I can say it. But anyway, it's out of the blue. I've never seen India be into this kind of stuff. This is like the first play. I guess like the Saudi princes are getting too many fights and India's like, you know what, we're rich too. Let's get something in return. You might be thinking there's no way this could possibly happen because Dana White wouldn't possibly allow for such a thing to happen. But apparently, as Ariel Helwani does explain somewhat eloquently, there is a way that this can happen just because the WWE and the UFC are owned by, you know, TKO or whatever the thing is called. They're under the same umbrella. So technically, they could negotiate a deal between themselves to make this fight happen. Let's get straight into it right now, though.
So now you may be asking yourself, okay, how is this possible? How can Logan Paul compete against Conor McGregor in a boxing match? Logan Paul is a WWE competitor. Yes, he did do the Misfits fight. Conor McGregor is a UFC fighter. Well, then you quickly come to the realization that the parent company of WWE and UFC is TKO. So they're all under the same umbrella. Very easy to get done.
I will mention one thing though. Dana White isn't the type of guy that's like, oh, you know, we're all friends here. Let's get this thing done. You work for WWE. That means you work for me. He's probably very against the biggest fighter under the UFC's name that's ever lived, fighting and probably losing to a steroid head YouTube influencer. And he hates the polls, as I can tell.
That's a thing that I don't think would be a hurdle. It's not like trying to do Mayweather McGregor. There were a ton of hurdles in trying to make that happen. Mayweather McGregor was a thing that ended up happening, but it took a hell of a long time to get there. And the main stumbling block, if you will, was UFC and Showtime coming together. There isn't really any of that here. They're literally the same company for all intents and purposes.
Now, Ariel Helwani is being a little bit disingenuous here. The biggest star in the history of mixed martial arts is not going to be fed to Logan Paul in a boxing fight. Because you know, if anything, Logan Paul's probably got better cardio than Conor. Conor's going to gas later on, and Logan Paul's a big dude. I don't think he's chinny, and the fact that he just walks around at probably like 220 pounds, if I had to guess, like when the guy's massive, I would be surprised if like that's a risk Conor McGregor wants to take, especially with boxing gloves where he can't quite have the same level of knockout power. I would be shocked to say, and it's crazy to say that in today's day and age, because Logan Paul, for all intents and purposes, was a YouTube, I just spat everywhere, was a YouTube influencer boxer. So the whole time when he's fighting KSI, we're thinking, what's this bullshit? Feed him to Mike Perry. Mike Perry would destroy him. Now it turns out these influencers with the money, apparently when they train more intensely than mixed martial arts strikers and boxers at least, because their boxing is just vastly better. I understand a lot of them have been old washed up MMA fighters, but still, the fact they've been training mixed martial arts and boxing their entire lives, they can't beat someone who has a decade less experience than them. I mean, surely when you're 42, I understand, look, right, I get it. 42 hits different to 32, but still, these guys are just closing this gap at a really rapid pace, and it just makes you think, maybe mixed martial art doesn't have the best fighters in the world. Maybe it's just the guys that are, you know, too stupid to pass their ACT, or whatever the test is called in America. Their ATAR in Australia. Like, maybe they're not smart enough to get a high ATAR to go to university, get an education, or maybe they just have OCD or ACDC or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they're just, like, too stupid to be, you know, working in anything but trades, like plumbing, like Conor McGregor was. And that's why they go down the route of fighting. I know there's some people that genuinely do love to fight, but in the heavyweight division at least, the athletic level of those fighters is extremely low. I mean, look at the heavyweight division. It is just fat blobs everywhere. And unathletic dudes of any skin color. If you check my last video, I got a lot of hate. Anyway, the last thing is Jake Paul has replied, and this is kind of pathetic on... Well, it's actually not pathetic, it just makes Conor McGregor looks pathetic himself. Now, it all makes sense why Conor McGregor and his management team have been desperately trying to get MVP to negotiate for a fight between us. MVP is Jake Paul's promotion, most valuable promotion, so... They've been apparently contacting Jake Paul and asking him to make the fight happen. Come on, Jake, please. Conor's washed. He can't go back to the UFC. Please give him a paycheck and don't KO him like you did what's his name? Mike Tyson. Please. Let him have some dignity after the court case. That's probably what they're saying to him, and Jake's just like, I'll fight. Who's left, really? As we told them privately, and I'm not saying it publicly, so apparently this is something that they've told Conor McGregor's team. The only way we're willing to explore me versus Conor in a pro boxing / MMA fight, okay, is if Dana White / the UFC are at the table directly or make it clear they are okay with discussions. Conor is washed, needs the polls, Logan by however he wants. You've got a Mystic Mac is probably Jake Paul at this stage, because I think I completely agree with everything he said. Conor McGregor would get absolutely mollywopped by Logan Paul. He's bigger, he's stronger, he looks like he's in more shape. He's not just a big, you know, plank of wood in terms of body mass. He actually looks like he has some shape to him, has physique, he's ripped, he's lean, he's big. I'm jerking off to Logan Paul later tonight if you can't tell. But anyway, Logan Paul would absolutely destroy Conor McGregor. We're looking up, and apparently Jake Paul wants the UFC at the negotiation table. I don't know why. This is clearly just a bitch move on Jake Paul's part to just like stir up some sort of controversy, when in fact he doesn't really need them there. If it is true that the UFC and the WWE are just one big promotion and they all live happily ever after and all that stuff. But I'm guessing he doesn't want to waste his time, is what I'm thinking, by just talking about fights with McGregor, and then Dana White just shuts it all down. Let Conor McGregor go, man. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, do we really miss McGregor that much? Like, do we want to see him come back to the UFC to fight? Yes. Do we really care? Like, does Conor McGregor impact the future and the story of the UFC going to the future, right? Like, is this really Conor McGregor coming back as Conor McGregor, or is this more like Anderson Silva fighting Nick Diaz, and then Daniel Cormier? Like, these big kind of fights that it's just fun to be there, but at the end of the day, we know it adds nothing to legacy. There's no seismic shifts in the division. It's just there for fun. Conor McGregor is never getting to a title again. His leg's broken. He's washed. He's not trained for years, I'm willing to bet, other than maybe riding his bike around the block. That's Conor McGregor for you nowadays. And honestly, Jake Paul is Conor McGregor, the most biggest star in the history of mixed martial arts. The Michael Jordan in terms of fame. Who's a really the Muhammad Ali in terms of fame. Asking YouTube influencers to fight him. And if this is true, then damn. It's quite a damning statement on mixed martial arts that they would rather fight these. I mean, it's less dangerous, but still, you know, like the prestige of being the best in the world at fighting doesn't seem to be all that prestigious anymore. You'd rather be making money off fighting influencers. But that's the video for today. I had nothing else to make content about. I saw this being a thing. I was going to make a video about the ranking every single title fight from worst to best, but that'll get put up for tomorrow unless another big news comes out. Big news. This is just Twitter war. This is a bunch of rumors. Whatever. No Elite Superior fight though. Anyway, I'll see you next time. 169 subscribers. Get me to 200, guys. Subscribe. I'll see you next time.